The Blades Ramble are proudly supported by our main channel sponsor, My Business Group, a group of brands designed to support owners, leaders and managers in business. If you're looking to grow your business, contact mybusinessgroup.co.uk today for more information or follow the link in the description below. Today's Ramble is proudly sponsored by High Point Access Limited, your one-stop shop for all your working at heights and roofing needs. Please find their details in all the links below. Thank you again to High Point Access for your continued support of the Blades Ramble.
Like and subscribe to Blades Ramble.
What is happening, Blades? And welcome back to the Blades Ramble. I am, of course, Jimmy, and this is Rumour Has It. Fresh off Rumour Has It regarding Jack Clarke, which I think was, and I still think is, quite a fanciful transfer link for Sheffield United. Look, we're linked with him loosely, and that is said to be the calibre of player that we are going after. And more power to us if that's what we're doing. I would love it if that was the case. I would like the club to manage our expectations as a fan base somewhat. And this might be some way towards doing it. So Chris Wilder has already stated his desire in terms of his recruitment's going to be focused on more championship-ready players and championship experience on the whole. He thinks we've got enough youth players coming through our already brilliant academy and bleeding them into the first team. We had 4 academy boys that stood out last season in a poor season, but Ollie Arblaster obviously had a horrendous injury, but he's recovering and hopefully comes back stronger next season. But Sidney Peck, Andre Brooks and Femi Siriki all had strong individual seasons and ironically are the players that we are probably saying we get the most money for in the summer if indeed some of them do leave. So we know that we can trust our youth system to pull through some really strong players. It doesn't mean, though, that when players, younger players from elsewhere become available, that we can't still cast our eye and see what's out there and whether they're a decent fit for Sheffield United. And that's where young Cameron Ashia comes in, the 19-year-old midfielder at Huddersfield Town. So when I first heard this name, I assumed, wrongly, that it was a left winger because we have, or it's been stated that should Gus Hamer leave, then we are clearly looking for a left winger. Hence the Jack Clarke links, and we'll be linked to more, I'm sure, as the summer continues. Reyes Cleary's been linked as well. A lot of us want us to have a look at Max Johnston, but I think that's become a little bit more difficult now that West Brom have stayed up. So I assumed it were a left winger, but also if Gus stays, he's said to be moving inside. So, we'll use him in a more central role next season. So left wing is a priority for Sheffield United. We know this. So my immediate assumption was, well, Ashia must be a cheaper alternative to a Reyes Cleary, for example. But he's not. He's a number 10. He has played on the left. He has played a touch on the right. But for the vast majority of games, particularly for Huddersfield, he has played in the number 10 role, which would be obviously where the boy Callum O'Hare plays. I fully expect Callum O'Hare, our player of the season, to continue in that role next year. But is this somebody that can possibly rotate with him? Does that nudge Louis Marsh down the pecking order even further? Is Louis Marsh 22 now? So we maybe have to make a decision on Louis. But the reason it's come up is there's a lot of players after Cameron Ashia. And what do we know about him? Well, the truth is, not an awful lot, to be honest. So, Cameron James Ni Ajay Ashia, something like that. Apologies, I've butchered his name. He's a number 10. He's come through the Fox Soccer Academy, which was set up by Christian Fuchs, family channel, but it was set up by real name Christian Fuchs, who was, you may remember him at Leicester City. He set up the academy in Leicester, but he's also set one up in London. And this is where Ashia was picked up by Derby County in 2022. He picked up on scholarship forms, but was released without getting a professional contract. Huddersfield picked him up in 2024 and sent him out on loan to Torquay. He played no games for Torquay, from what I can see. I'm just going to have another little look to see if I can see any different. I'm going to put these out as recorded, so we're not going to do a lot of editing on these videos. But from what I can see, he's played for Huddersfield this season 21 times. Scored 3 goals, got 3 assists, and as I say, he's 19 years old. Took him on a 1-year contract originally last season with an option to extend, and they've taken that option. So he now has 12 months remaining on his contract, and he's attracting a lot of interest. So he's clearly doing something right. Can't proclaim to have seen him personally myself, but when he's turning the amount of heads that he has, then there's clearly a bit of a player in there, isn't there? So the rumoured fee is said to be around 500 grand. It's very difficult for me to comment on whether I would go for him or not, with me not seeing him. All we've seen are the stats, and you know we're not a channel that likes stats. But as a cheap alternative, as something that would plug a gap for a relatively low fee, I think with a 19-year-old, if they're a prospect that are widely touted, if you're paying something like 500 grand, then you're never going to lose money. So I don't think it would be a bad deal at all. Even if you're paying him, if you're buying him and you don't think he's ready and you loan him back to, say, Huddersfield, that might be a deal that we can do potentially. But there are a lot of suitors here. So unlike the Jack Clark concerns, that when there are bigger and more financially powerful suitors than Sheffield United in the race, that's potentially dampens our chances. Undoubtedly, that will still have a pull in this type of deal. But for younger lads, they're looking for opportunities. And it depends what their agent wants, for their pathway, essentially. So we've known players turn down Premier League clubs and come to Sheffield United previously. And that's not because we're the best option long term, but it's certainly the best option for them in terms of a pathway. So could we potentially offer a deal that a lower-end Premier League couldn't? How much are they willing to pay them? Obviously, they can outdo us for wages, but what opportunities can we offer? How close is this lad going to be to the first team? I don't proclaim to know an awful lot about Cameron Ashia, but it's an interesting link all the same. Do we need another number 10? Would you prefer to see somebody like Louis Marsh given a go in that 10 role? We haven't really got anybody else, unless you fancy trying to keep Gus, which I think, again, we have to be realistic about. I don't think is on the table. I think Gus leaves, but some will be saying rotate Gus and Callum O'Hare. I think we're going to have to look at some sort of alternative to Callum O'Hare in the 10. If it's a backup as a young kid coming through, this might be an option for you. But let me know what you guys think. Would you be interested in signing Cameron Ashia from Huddersfield Town? Have you seen more of him than I have? And if so, get it in the comments what you think. But for now, come on, you red and white wizards. Up the blades! Oh!